Hello and welcome back to the Game Show Global Esports Cup live from Vilnius, Lithuania. I'm Grandis, joined by Winter for game number 2, 4 Clovers and a Leprechaun versus No Logic Gaming. Game number 1, just a couple of questionable decision-making calls from No Logic Gaming made it very difficult for them to find any amount of control inside that game, and they'll end up losing game 1.
Yeah, but it's kind of expected, like, from a newer team and inexperienced team that stuff like this will happen. Mistakes will be... Their mistakes are mostly mistakes made by teams that are very new, and they just need time to, adjust their decision making and be much more calm. Sometimes teams take some time, to get into the rhythm, get into shape. Maybe the first series you are much more nervous and you need some time to relax, get your stuff together. But overall, I talk to them. They don't really look nervous. It's more, I feel, inexperienced.
Fair enough. And we'll have to see if they're going to be able to adapt for game number 2. And I think that's really one of the parts where they're going to be able to grow as a team, is if they can
the issue
put
is
that behind them.
Whether when they go back to the replay and they understand what went wrong.
Yeah.
Because usually in the newer teams, something common is they don't understand why they lost the game. And
Fair enough.
Sometimes you fall it on, maybe it's the draft, but it's actually not the draft. But it was
I think the draft was fine.
It was mostly because of that particular moment. Because Dota is a game where sometimes just one moment, that 1 minute, something that you did was so wrong that it just loses you the whole game. So you have to be able to pinpoint that exact moment to understand that, this was what we did wrong. We have to make sure it doesn't happen again and move on. Because if you move on without understanding what went wrong, it's like a waste of time. You're not going to
develop.
Yeah, you're not going to be moving forward. So I think that is a very important part of the growing process of most of the new teams.
Yeah, and also just not to take anything away from the draft. We'll have to see if they're going to be able to maintain finding reasonable trades.
Their draft, like I mentioned, has always been solid, and they have a very clear plan. They have a, good mixture of heroes. They don't really pick just like one type of strategies. They have a few mix, and it's mostly just their decision making and their execution that's letting them down.
Mm-hmm. Although it might be a little bit selfish, I'd love to see them go for more of a pocket strategy, although I think their draft and their picks that they're going for, the strategies that they're angling towards, are fine as well. I'd still love to see something like an Omni Knight or Meepo.
Usually pocket strats are for teams that you can't beat the opponent when you're playing normally. This is like not the case. It's more...
Fair enough.
I think their biggest weakness is themselves, because they have to overcome the fact that they need to be calm, they need to understand the situation better and make the better decisions. It's not like, we can't really beat them with a normal strat. We have to surprise them because they are outscaling us. Their problem is themselves. They are not calm enough to make the appropriate decisions in the game.
Oh, fair enough. Well, we'll be going to the draft shortly, and we'll have to see if No Logic Gaming are going to get that read, and if they can focus more on themselves and be a little bit more introspective. But right now, they are going to be operating with first pick. What do you think the ban is going to be here from No Logic Gaming?
Not sure how much they prioritize Doom. Probably if they don't want Doom, they will ban Doom. But mostly, I think they want to get Tusk, like I mentioned in the last game. They want Tusk and Wiz. This is the two heroes that I feel that they are really comfortable with. And Tusk is, I think, for them is even first compared to Wiz. I'm not sure, but I know they love their Tusk. So I think these are the two heroes they are looking to get in the first phase, if possible. Because they have first pick now, right? So for Clovers, it's either you have to ban Doom and you have to release one of those, or you just don't ban anything. You leave everything in the pool.
Yeah, and kind of like the Dazzle ban, because of it, it leaves a lot of those heroes open inside the draft.
So for Clovers has chosen to remove the Tusk, which I mentioned, it's one of their best heroes. And like you mentioned, NLG removes Dazzle, keeps the pool open. It's also a hero that's really strong, and for CL like to pick like Dazzle, Wyvern, Bane, all these heroes to win the lanes. So it's still a good ban considering their opponent. It's something that they love to utilize in the laning phase. And the second ban, we'll see what they actually want to go for. So it's the same type of ban that they are going for. All the supports that are going to win them the lanes. So let's see whether they go for the Wiz. If they go for the Wiz, probably 4 Clovers will pick up the Bane. Bane plus
Bane
1.
Tiny?
Yeah, Bane Tiny sounds good. I think I like Bane Tiny. Number 1, you deny the Tiny plus IO combination. Number 2, Bane plus Tiny is a really, really strong lane together.
Instead, they're going to go for the Shadow Fiend Darks here. That's completely different.
That's really surprising, though. They are going back for the same draft. So...
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this. This is going to give No Logic Gaming a lot of room inside the draft, and they're going to pick up the Tiny right now. One of Excalibur's best heroes, and Although Darkseer is pretty good against IO, and like Shadow Fiend's never a bad hero per se. It is very interesting to see 4 Clovers just stick to what they went for in game number 1.
Yeah, but the only issue I have with this is Shadow Fiend versus IO plus Tiny. It's a very dangerous proposition. Laning phase is very tough, so right now NLG has to ban out the supports that can actually make sure Shadow Fiend gets a good laning phase. So Bane comes to mind. There's still Wyvern. Wyvern is also a good ban. Yep, Wyvern is gone because they have Darkseer and they have IO, but there's still Bane. So maybe
And they'll pick it.
4 Clovers will just go for the Bane to solidify their laning phase. Bane plus Shadow Fiend, not the strongest dual lane, but it still helps the Shadow Fiend secure the first few souls, so you can actually get the damage to be able to last hit versus the Tiny.
Yeah, and in some way, shape, or form, they need to involve Bane in one of those picks. You really don't want to give away Bane, Tiny plus IO. It's crazy for setting up kills globally. But to follow up those first couple of picks, we're going to see No Logic Gaming back off for the Slaughter here. Reasonable initiator, but generally good hero. But 4 Clovers get their hands on the Night Stalker.
Just very solid draft overall again. Stalker would provide them in terms of laning. Like it's the same thing like Darkseer plus Night Stalker. Your lane is very very strong, and Bane plus SF, you secure the SF lane. So the overall strategy that they're going for is to make sure they get a very solid laning phase and try to pressure you when the nighttime comes and they have the mech. It's probably on the Darkseer like the last game, and Shadow Fiend will go for a small carry build like SMY, BKB. And once again, they are the teams themselves to remove the Viper, so they want to make sure that SF has a very good laning phase. They don't want him to be pressured.
Oh, draft going very quickly. Yeah, Disruptor is going to be picked for No Logic Gaming and Beastmaster for 4 Clovers.
Yeah, it seems like this is like the way they are playing the game. They have 2 heroes that are utility heroes, teamfight heroes, tempo controlling heroes on Bambo and Nikwa, and Pika would be the main carrier on the mid lane. So they create a lot of space for him, and they have 2 supports which are very good at scaling, like Bane and Stalker. So overall, their lineup is always like four utility heroes plus a super carry.
Yeah. And it's been working pretty well for them. They have so much control.
This game is
here.
much better. I prefer the Beastmaster over the Bat because right now your jungle is not so occupied, and Beastmaster doesn't really require a lot of resources. He's a hero that, okay, once you get level 6, you can move around with a smoke, get a kill, make some space. And they have a lot of vision right now from Stalker and Beastmaster.
Yeah, and also I think they can get away with this too because of the supporting duo coming out from No Logic Gaming. The Disruptor pick, although he's a very good hero, is
not so good at pressure.
Yeah, and not that great in the super early stages till he gets higher levels.
So right now NLG needs their safe laner. I think Excalibur plays a Tiny, Sada is like Mitch, so they need a Madara's carry hero. Much more aggressive one, like someone that can fight early. Juggernaut comes to my mind.
It's not a super easy game for a Juggernaut though. There's so much BKB piercing disable.
Yeah, but they need someone that can fight early. Juggernaut, Luna is like quite weak in the laning phase. It's not many good options here though for them.
The hero they want is Gyrocopter, but you can't really replace that, and he's already been banned. They're gonna go for the Ember Spirit.
Oh, this is. He fights early, but my problem with the hero is his laning phase is just. The first few levels is so difficult against, like right now this game. I mentioned the Darkseer Night Stalker, the way you can play is you start in the jungle, but this game, because the laning is so weak, Ember plus Disruptor, you can just straight away lane the Stalker and the Darkseer in the first wave together, and you just pressure the Ember from there, because Ember starts to become strong when he has his level 3.
Yeah. Well, to introduce our teams on the Radiant side is going to be No Logic Gaming. Madara is going to be handling that Ember Spirit. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to operate at high enough efficiency. I'd like to. Spartan is going to be on his signature IO, one of his best heroes, and it's always a pleasure to watch. Milan will be on the Disruptor, the fellow support for that IO. Excalibur is going to be playing on the Tiny, and last but certainly not least, Mitch on the Slaughter.
And on the Dire side, we have 4 Clovers. We have their captain right now, Paikat, playing the Shadow Fiend. Nico on the Darkseer. Saxa once again reprising the role of the Night Stalker. Sexy Bambo on his Beastmaster. And lastly, we have Doni, EGM, the Bane player.
And, well, they'll go ahead and place down that ward early, block out that pole camp, and get themselves a little bit of vision. One of the things I do like about the Beastmaster, especially over the bat, is the fact that he's going to be bringing quite a lot of damage to the table if they do get an early lead. If you get a quick Necro book up, especially the supports are just going to
lanes
melt.
Lanes are pretty interesting. Like everyone's dodging. They don't want an Ember to go up against that lane. But at the same time, it seems like Beastmaster's going to be... Oh, is Beastmaster going bottom?
I'm a little surprised Excalibur is sitting on the rune. I thought they might bait this out a little bit further. Spartan's up on the cliff.
They want to toss someone over.
Yeah, nobody's going to come up though. So they'll just get that bounty rune for the IO and everything will progress mostly as expected.
They have this tendency of getting Pomanchu on Tiny as well. They get Pomanchu on Tiny and Alchemist when they go mid with the heroes.
Yeah, and it works really well against the Shadow Fiend. That amount of poke is going to be annoying,
Even
but maybe
against-
more important the
even
Bane.
against the Bane,
Yeah,
yeah.
more important the Bane.
So the lanes would be Beastmaster versus Slada. Beastmaster is really good versus most of the melee heroes. So
Yeah, and I think this matchup no exception.
and if you look at top lane, this lane is really tough for the Ember for sure. This is not an easy lane for him.
Oh, mid lane, a lot of blows being traded. They'll drop EGM low, and Spartan will also take quite a lot of press. But with that bottle already, NLG Gaming are trading a little bit more effectively.
Yeah, but I'm just really worried about this Ember because he's not going to be able to get too much. Just look at the lane. He's getting zoned out by this Night Stalker with Iron Shell, and he can't really get blast hits. Maybe he gets experience, but this is tough for Madara.
I think the worst part is it doesn't really get better. They do get chains onto Saxa. The Void is going to be thrown. That Iron Shell is starting to work down the Ember Sphere, but Night Stalker's just a little too low to keep on going for
And he
that.
still has 0 last hits. This is really worrisome for NLG.
Yeah, Night Stalker can stick around the lane. He had the salve, so he'll be right back to being annoying to the Ember Spirit.
And mid lane should be a wash, but when you get levels on a Tiny, the SF has to play very careful. Because that's when the time where you have a lot of kill potential on the Shadow Fiend. He has to be really careful with his positioning overall.
No, it's going to take a raise as Pycat also gets higher levels. They do need to be careful about their positioning. Mid might just be where we see First Blood.
So basically top lane's 4 CL favored. Bottom lane is also 4 CL favored.
And mid lane's a wash.
Mid lane is probably just NLG favored if they can actually get a kill when Tiny has levels.
Mm-hmm.
So overall the early game is looking really good for 4 Clovers right now, the laning phase.
And we'll have to see if Pycat actually gives them that opportunity. And he's also getting some stacks up in the woods, prepared by the Bane. Only a duo stack inside that large camp.
But right now, if you look at the CS on the Sada, he's actually doing fairly well against Beastmaster. Beastmaster didn't actually opt to go for that Orb of Venom. I think for total lane dominance, you have to start out. You have to get an Orb of Venom instead of the boots first. I think that would allow Beastmaster to actually pull further ahead in terms of CS against the Slada.
Yeah, just the Boar Slow is good, but it's so synergistic. And in that situation, maybe that's even a kill.
They get a toss back on Pycat.
Oh, with the Wisp Spirits and the right-click damage, Spartan is going to draw First Blood. That helps out NLG a lot. It's going to rely very heavily, the game, excuse me, is going to rely very heavily on Excalibur having a good time, and that is one way to do it.
He's the only core that will have a sort of good laning phase compared to his teammates, so he has to do a lot of work. And for the Shadow Fiend, even though he died, but it's going to be
Beastmaster is going to slow down Mitch to a crawl. He's not going to be able to secure this
imagine
kill.
if he had all of Venom though. I
Yeah,
think
again,
he would have
another
gotten,
situation.
Yeah, he would have gotten the kill actually. So they forced out a TP cancelled by Milan. So Ember still not getting much from the lane. Oh dear, this Ember is so hard, having such a hard time.
Yeah, they're going to put a good amount of damage onto Nikwa, but not even close to securing that kill. And Ember Spirit, as 5 CS, there's really just not much they can do about this. One of the best ways for Ember Spirit to get back in this game is just make the rotation once he gets his level 6. The biggest issue for the Ember is getting to that point.
Yep. He's gonna be able to get to that point, but he won't have too much farm to show for it. Yeah, so he's gonna be able to get his levels, but I think he needs to rely on maybe a Slada rotation somehow, or even like we mentioned, the Tiny's gonna have the best time among the 3 cores. So once he gets his blink, he's gonna be making space for the Ember and the Slada.
Well, everything's pretty slow. This is one of those games that doesn't have a lot of rotations yet, but that might be changing as it is nighttime. Excuse me. The rune is going to be an illusion denied out by Milan. The Disruptor is going to bump right into this Night Stalker. He has a glimpse, and he is around the Ancients, but it looks like this Disruptor is going to die one way or another. He has the TP. Do they have another Void? Oh, he'll be able to make it back towards base, if only just.
And Io as well, almost dying to the trades that he was taking against the Shadow Fiend there.
He'll be able to tether away, but yeah, another close call.
So right now it's going to be the phase where 4CL can look to put even more pressure.
Here comes Saxa and EGM in mid. Oh, if they could find a Nightmare onto something, it might just die.
They have a ward though, so they spot all the rotations here. It's not going to be easy for them to get an opening. But if you look at the overall state of the game, they're going to be waiting for the mech from the Darkseer, and level 6 obviously on Sexy Bambo before he starts to move around to get kills as well.
Unless he can find Mitch.
I'm really surprised that he's still not going for the Orb of Venom though. He went for a bottle. Most of the players will go Orb Venom against a melee matchup.
Yeah, and it is maybe not putting as much pressure.
It's a big deal though, I feel. Like you win the lane so handily with the Orb of Venom.
With the bottle, he'll be able to spam out his axes every once in a while and be able to push out the lane a lot harder into the Slider, and there's not a good answer for the Slider here to stop that tower damage. So I think that's kind of the trade-off with the Orb of Venom, although it doesn't cost that much gold. I think it might just be a mistake.
Yeah, it's just like not so efficient because he's not a player that focuses a lot on 1v1. Like I think I mentioned yesterday when we were casting a game with Funnick playing, he gets Poor Man Shield, he gets Orb of Venom, and it's a 1v1 matchup. He's a offlaner that's very specialized.
Oh, roar onto Mitch. The Slider taking way too much damage. He expected Sexy Bamboo to back off.
Yeah, he was actually bottle crowing just now, so he thought the Beastmaster actually went back to base, but he actually bottle crowed and he stayed back, so he was able to actually get that kill. So a big pick off there for Sexy Bamboo, solo kill. And top lane, we see Pycat going for the rune. Milan coming in from the side as well.
Oh, Pycat going to land one raise onto Milan, but with the Nightmare, it looks like... Oh, toss back. He's going to toss him straight up as the Ember Spirit dies to the Darkseer. They'll be able to pull him into the IO Spirits. And a couple more right clicks, and that is going to be a kill.
Now, there was also a nice soccer rotation there. So
okay, fair enough.
Wasn't a solo kill. But this Ember is not going to have a... Like we mentioned, his laning phase is going to be horrible this game. There's no lane that he can actually go to.
Yeah, there's not, and he's only level 5.
Oh, relocate bottom?
Oh, let's see if they can secure this kill. Bamboo is hasted, and they just won't be able to find that opportunity. It looks like the bottle's going to pay off again.
They needed the crush to land before they actually had enough time to actually connect with the relocate plus the avalanche toss from the Tiny. That was rather unfortunate for them.
It's still a really hard kill, but it would have been possible. Mid lane, toss up onto EGM. He's going to brain sap the IO and buys himself a lot of HP, and now Excalibur and Spartan in a bit of trouble. Spartan will drop to the Shadow Fiend.
Man, this is not looking good for NLG so far. Couple of misplays again from them.
And this is really starting to show as 4CL are going to get really close to a lot of key items. Nico is well on his way towards the mechanism with the two major components. It's going to
be tough, and Tiny is not even rushing the dagger. He's going to get a toss onto Pycat with the Sala landing the crush after and the avalanche to follow it. So
nice kill.
Nice kill from NLG there. Getting a really big kill, like the main carry from 4CL.
Yeah, and that's one of the synergies we didn't talk about. Even though Slardar isn't going to have his Blink Dagger, at least they have some way to start these engagements with the poor man's Blink Dagger of the toss.
Poor man's Blink Dagger. I like that.
Well, maybe they can get a couple of these jungle camps, but they're not stacked up.
Stacks here, so I think the Shadow Fiend already cleared the previous stack because I wasn't paying attention. So overall, they didn't lose too much in terms of that, but they got a very deep vision here. But the ward is actually going to scout out. Like 4CL had a ward here, so they realized that the Wisp actually went in with a ward to place. So let's see if they are able to scout out the precise location of this ward.
Yeah, Madara's going to be down in the bottom lane. He will get his level 6, so the Ember Spirit's got to survive a little bit longer, but the Beastmaster just alone can put so much pressure onto the Ember Spirit. And oh no! He snipes him!
The level 4 axe.
That completely caught him off guard. You don't expect the Beastmaster to go for the maxed out axes.
And Flame God doesn't do anything against that as well. So that was a really good play from Sexy Bamboo. Once again hiding around the trees and catching the opponent by surprise there.
This is going to be a really fast Necrobook, and that's scary, especially for the IO and the Disruptor.
Damn, man, even like all these heroes, Slada Tiny, Strength heroes with low
they need their mana,
Yeah, Necrobook is going to be so annoying for them.
And he didn't even have to use Roar for that. That was just the Axis. Now with that Roar going on to Spartan, easy kill on the Wisp. Killing spree for Bamboo. Can he get out? I don't think so. They have the Thunderstrike onto him, but here comes the Nightmare going on the north. The Mitch blowing up the Slardar. 6-4. 4 Clovers are getting so much.
No Orb of Venom, no problem. Sexy Bamboo still gets so much done in this game. He didn't win his lane so handily, but his rotations were still really good for his team.
Yeah, and the solo kill too.
Some of it may be a bit misplay from NLG, but overall, Bamboo has been making really good rotations, making space. Like his rotations are always really good on all his space creating heroes that he's been playing for this team. The Night Stalker, the Bat Rider, like the Beastmaster in this game.
Yeah. The silver lining for No Logic Gaming is the fact that Excalibur is still doing quite well. Being involved in 4 kills, has a good amount of farm. He's gonna opt to for the drums, which is pretty good. Oh, let's see if they can get this kill.
Oh, he didn't get the Tiny.
Oh no. They probably still get Nikwa here, but do they get it for free? Remnant 4, they'll be able to bring him down. The Shadow Fiend cutting off Spartan, the Darkseer getting a kill from beyond the grave with those wall illusions. That was far from clean.
Oh dear. I think if they brought the Tiny, maybe they would have just gotten a very clean kill and the Wisp didn't have to die there. So that was rather unfortunate for them.
Even though they lose their Darks here, the damage that's been put onto this bottom tower is going to secure it very easily for 4 Clovers. Beastmaster going to get that destruction and his Necrobuck
This
1.
is really tough. If you look at the net worth, all the 3 cores of 4 Clovers, they're going to get a sleep onto Milan. Probably another kill for them.
Oh yeah, easily. If they land the raise, oh, he walks into the corner and he's not going to be able to get out of there.
Look at all the 3 cores, they are so farm, whereas for NLG, there's only one guy, like you mentioned, only the Tiny having a good time.
Yeah, and we'll have to see if he's going to be able to transition this good time into something bigger. I think one of the other issues for No Logic Gaming is the fact that even if Excalibur goes for this blink, there's no guarantee he gets the kill on like the Night Stalker and the Bane. They're just a little too tanky to one cycle with the Tiny.
But if he goes with the Wisp and or the Slada, then yeah, he needs his team basically. It's not like a lineup that he can have multiple easy targets to just drop both his nuke off and just kill them.
Fiend's Grip and Roar are ready. They're going to aggress on mid. Milan's there with Mitch, trying to kill off Soxa, but they're getting cut off.
No.
Here comes SF. They have the grip onto Milan, Roar onto Mitch. They'll be able to get the return kills. Here comes Tiny. Avalanche Toss combo. 2 for 2 is the exchange for now, at the very least. Excalibur as well as Spartan will be able to back off.
But 4CL still got the better trade. They traded
I think that's fair.
2 supports for an offlane and a support, so they're still very happy, and on top of that, they're going to get the tower.
And Slaughter is so very far away from having his Blink Dagger. Yes, Treads Bottle 1. Not really anything on top of that to write home about. They're not going to be able to get towers. The side of No Logic Gaming aren't that great at applying pressure onto their lanes, right? Or, well, they can shove out the waves, but not get a lot of damage onto the towers.
This is really worrisome for NLG right now. They're not going to be in any position to
Is that Necrobuck 2?
Any towers. Yeah, that's Necro 2.
Wow.
He's super fun for Beastmaster at this stage of the game, because how well, I mean, his laning phase didn't even like go perfectly, and he still made so many rotations, got so many kills, and this is gonna be tough. They're gonna be able to get Roshan soon on top of that, since with the map control they have, look at the vision, like they have wards all over the jungle. This smoke play from NLG has to work.
And let's see if it's going to. They're going to lead the charge with the Tiny moving very quickly. The smoke's going to pop, and they have a ward.
Toss the Slaughter. Oh, oh dear, he got the ball.
And now silenced up Excalibur. They're going to start right-clicking on Saxa. They do have the IO Spirits. They're Requiem unwound. Excalibur does get the Night Stalker kill. Can they get EGM as well? They have the silence down on the deck. Remnanting forward is going to get a little bit of damage into Pycap, but Excalibur just can't get anything more. Triple kill for Bambo. Those Necronomicon units are doing so much damage, especially when they have the Darkseer on top of them. That's crazy. 13-8, and there's nothing to stop them.
That is so cool. The Iron Shear on the books.
Oh, Whisper's going to drop EGM low, but Milan is just going to be smacked down. Monster kill for Sexy Bambo, up to 8-0-3.
Oh, he gets the grip on Madara as well. Is he going to be able to get out?
Relocate out.
Oh dear. If they lost the Ember there, that would have been like, the game would have been almost so crippling over for them if they actually lost the Ember as well. But they still like lost like 4 heroes because plus the buyback from the IO. It was still really bad for them. So right now Roshan is on the cards for CR.
And it feels like they just have all of the control in the world. And Tiny isn't really in his spot with the highest net worth in this game.
Yeah, he's not even going for the dagger anymore. He realizes that he needs to be the carry, but I'm not so sure whether it's the best decision for them.
Even if they were an even farm, though, it kind of feels like Tiny and Ember just need so many items to be safe in this game. You kind of need a BKB, you kind of need a Lincoln Sphere.
They scouted the smoke as well, oh dear.
Oh, yeah, the Hawks have been on point. Just look at the Dire's vision inside the enemy side of the map. They know everything, pretty much. They are going to toss in the Slaughter. Crush onto Bambo. If they can kill off this Beastmaster, that would be amazing. They're going to glimpse him back, but he's on the left-hand side of this fight. They just don't quite have the damage. They're roaring to Excalibur. The Tiny's going to be held in place for a handful of raises. Stackstorm's going to cancel the secondary raise. Avalanche is going to miss. Mitch gets a secondary crush onto Bambo and Pycat, but they just don't have enough to keep on chasing. Saxa might be dropping, but no, the Night Stalker able to run out of there alive. The only hero that dies as of yet is just Excalibur, but now Milan gets nightmared up. Axes fly, and he's going to fall 16-8, and everything's going wrong for No Logic Gaming.
Even Roshan is like so convenient for them because the fight was
They have
so
the
near.
Necro books, yeah.
The fight was so near the Roche pit, everything was already used. Man, I don't really feel like they have enough time. Like there's no one that's able to create the space necessary for their 3 cores right now. The Slada alone is not even going to be enough because he doesn't even have his blink.
instantly smoking up after this Roshan.
I think they needed to have the dagger on the Tiny so that they can actually have even a slightest chance of coming back into the game. But without the dagger, I just hardly see any way that NLG can create enough space to get all the cores farm enough.
It's going to be really difficult, for sure. And for Clovers now have the Sanjin Yasha on the Shadow Fiend to add to his Aegis of the Immortal, and, well, it doesn't look like the smoke is going to find anything. At least not yet. Oh, they found Milan. Poor Disruptor. It's going to be his 5th death of the game.
Oh dear, okay. I'm really struggling to find any way that NLG can actually do, like what they can do to come back into the game. It's going to be a lot into 4CL's hands, whether they slip up, make a bad mistake, and allow NLG back into the game.
Tier 2 tower is going to fall. This time around, No Logic Gaming aren't going to make any attempt at a defense. They're going to get a little bit of damage on the Tier 2 top lane.
It should be Rex.
Yeah, I don't really see it. They're going to be able to mow this down with the Necronomicon on the ground, Pycap from the low ground. They're really just not committing very hard for this. There's no opening for NLG. Here comes Mitch. He gets a 2-hero crush with so much damage. The Slaughter is dropping low. Nice static storm. Bambo held in place, so being able to bring down the Beastmaster and Saxa. That fight went much better for No Logic Gaming than we'd expected. They'll be able to mop up the IO with the raise thrown out by Pycap, but they have been repelled. That was miraculous.
It's a pattern. You know, every time 4CL has a lead and they have to make one play like this, and then they realize, okay, we have to be disciplined, and then they will do things much better the next time. They just got, like, 2 million heroes got caught in the static storm by Milan there. It was a really good static storm. They clumped up way too much there.
Yeah, Disruptor bailing out that fight. That's so much
They
gold.
just needed to send the Shadow Fiend with the Aegis on top, hit the tower. Everyone stay behind the Shadow Fiend and wait for them to toss the Slaughter or whatever, initiate on the Shadow Fiend, and then you make your move. Instead of trying to
have everybody there. Yeah. Just put the Necrobooks and Shadow Fiend on the high ground.
Yeah, exactly. There's no risk. Like, you just take the tower. What can they do? They toss the Slaughter, oh, he crushes you, so what? You have Aegis. And then you figure out a best timing for your Darkseid to come in the middle of the fight, get the vacuum on the wall, and you just win the fight. That's all they need to do.
Yeah. Now, No Logic Gaming are showing signs of life. We're getting close to the Blink Dagger on the Slaughter, and it was also pretty impressive that Mitch was able to just casually walk in for crushes.
That was, I don't know how that happened, but it happened.
It worked. It worked. And now you have like 1,400 gold on your Ember Spirit too, and the Tiny is well on his way towards his Aghanim Scepter.
That was actually such a big swing. It was like, what, 3k gold almost?
Yeah.
Oh, Raw onto Milan. Solo kill for Sexy Bambo. Putting his team on his back once more. The Beastmaster.
Yeah, he did lose his big streak, but he is up to 9-1-6. And 4 Clovers, without that Disruptor alive, might be able to put a little bit more damage onto this Tier 3.
Shadowfiend has Alpha Wolf to help him out.
Oh, bottom area. Madara is going to have a defensive remnant. He's going to be able to get out just fine, although he takes so much damage. The Aegis is still there for 2 minutes.
He literally has no items. Look at him. Aquila, poor man shield and a wand.
That's so sad. They're going to take down the Tier 3 tower.
Just look at how 4CR are doing this. Shadowfiend in front, everyone behind.
They learned their lesson. They got a little overzealous maybe in that first push, but this is going to be Rax, or at least ranged barracks falling. They're going to back off. Ember Spirit's on the front lines. Can they get some disables onto him? They don't have another roar for 30 seconds. On the sidelines, Excalibur's going to get a pretty good avalanche. They'll go onto the IO with Soxa, however, and Spartan's completely isolated. They lose the Bane. Stack Storm is going to drop Pycat low. Toss in the air. He still has his Aegis, however, and is still swinging pretty darn hard. They lose the Ember Spirit on the back lines. And now buying back. They need this to work out so the Ember Spirit can maintain. Oh, what a crush! They'll get the cleave damage from Excalibur to mop up a couple more of these kills. Remedy forward, Saxa will fall. Double kill for Excalibur. The Pycat Shadow Fiend in the middle of the fray has his Requiem right on top of the Tiny. Tiny still surviving though. Healed up by Spartan. Pycat's left alone, and he's gonna fall.
Spartan and Mitch were the hero for the teams there.
That was crazy.
Oh dear, once more they were really impatient with their push again, and I guess this time they got caught by the Starla Blink because they didn't realize Mitch has his Blink, so he got a 4-man crush there, and with the cleave damage they totally destroyed.
Just small mistakes, and No Logic Gaming are punishing this appropriately. Now, Excalibur's the top net worth inside this game, gets a Tier 1 tower.
And the Aghanim's paid off big time.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So many hits with that cleave, and it's going to get worse once he gets more damage, or maybe just pick up your BKB or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what Excalibur is going to go for.
Again, they grew up, you know. It was like twice in a row they made the mistake. Like, they should always be behind the Shadowfiend and not anywhere near him.
And it was fine up until just the very end of that,
yeah.
Right? They get the range barracks and they're positioned fine. They weren't able to.
It started to happen when they killed someone, and then they realized, oh, we have the numbers advantage, and they dive in, and he bought back, and then shit happens. and then they got crushed.
And still the Ember Spirit's farm progression is...
Man, the lead is
super
already
flat.
half gone for CL.
That's impressive. Down from almost 12,000 to a little over 6,000 the gold. And experience, I think, is more impressive, where we have almost a zeroed out graph.
Man, this Tiny is going to be putting his team on his back. I mentioned Sexy Bambo, but the Tiny is going to do a lot of heavy lifting from this moment on.
He almost has his AC.
All of a sudden, he's actually the richest hero on the map right now.
And by quite a good margin. That's almost a 2k lead over the Shadow Fiend. No. Not that much. But when it comes to completed items, however, it really feels like
they have to chill and get that BKB and maybe even wait for the next Roshan right now. 4CL has so far taken a lot too much damage.
Sorry for missing that. Bambo gonna find a solo kill onto the Slaughter. Necro 3 for a Beastmaster is ridiculous for finding solo kills, and he himself has a Blink Dagger.
So let's see what can they do with this play. Slala 30 seconds on the sidelines, not a big deal. The more important thing for 4CL right now is to get the BKB on Paikat. He needs to be able to, avoid all the magical damage from NLG that's killing him in the last few fights.
Just a couple of Avatos combos thrown in
And
here and there.
Storm, and everything from the Ember right now is just spell damage.
And Ember's not going to be transitioning into those big damage items until much later. It looks like he's going for a Linken's.
Is he going? Yeah, is he going like Linken's just to put it on the Tiny?
That's probably one of the most useful things he can do inside these fights, to be fair. And then transition later.
I guess, but it's not something you see too often. It's like a buffer, this Ember is playing a supporting role.
Not going to see that very often. Smoking up with his allies, Mitch and Milan. Let's see if they can find a kill with this party. They need to find somebody pretty far alone. It's going to be difficult. I suppose they do have the relocate on top of this, but there's just not a good angle. Even though No Logic Gaming did hold, and that was a great fight from them. Taking a fight on the enemy side of the map is going to be very difficult.
Yep, and 4CL is just waiting for the BKB on the Shadow Fiend before they try to make any more aggressive plays.
If this smoke pops, they have Hawks in the air, they have Night Stalker on the high ground, they just can't go for this. They're going to go back to their base.
Yeah, there's no reason for any teams to try and make too many... this is the moment where everyone's just trying to place wards, get vision, and try to get any safe pickoffs they can find, and wait for the Roshan fight. I think NLG more or less has to contest the Roshan fight. They are right now strong enough to be able to contest that as well.
Yeah, Tiny has his full Assault Cuirass. The amount of minus armor also just stacking with the Slaughter is going to mean that they have a lot of potential to get damage off.
They do have Blads on the Night Stalker to counteract some of it.
Yeah, this is true. But also this Night Stalker is not going to be transitioning to many items after the Vladimir is offering. He's not going to be getting that much income.
2 minutes to the Roche spawning. SF, does he have his BKB yet? That's key. They need to have the BKB on Paikat for the next fight.
Close but not quite. And he'll have it well before the Roshan respawns. That's going to be up in about 2 minutes.
Oh, relocate.
They're going to go for Paikat. Avalanche is thrown, toss into the air, right click through all of this. Paikat is going to fall. Mega kill for Excalibur. That's huge.
That was a big kill.
He is now very far away from having his BKB. Radiant's Courier is going to be sniped. Didn't see where that ended up happening.
Stalker managed to kill it, but he's not going to be able to...
Oh, Io. Top lane, killed off by Bambo. Mid lane, Bill Glimpse backs up. They have the Avalanche to cancel his TP. They'll toss him up into the air, bring him down. And No Logic Gaming will find a handful of pickoffs.
Bambo is like he's trying so hard to carry this team, but...
He really is. And he's finding a lot of good pickoffs. It's just that they can't transition those into anything. At the very least, it buys them time. Excalibur top going to kill some Necro Books. Madera is going to remnant over the top of all of this. Not going to find anybody, however.
Man, this game has taken a really big turn.
For sure.
4CL was like total control of the whole game, and then they made 2 sloppy mistakes, and right now the Tiny's boss in the game. He's the king. He's the most farm, and he's so scary. Like SF can't even stand next to him. Like one combo, he's just dead if he gets caught by Tiny.
Yeah, and we've seen that. Tiny at this point is doing so much physical damage. He doesn't have to chain together the Avatos. It's not about the magical DPS. It's about the right clicks during that disable that's really pulling it through. 50 seconds till the next Roshan. Everybody will be up for 4CL. And Shadow Fiend does have his BKB. But there's no guarantee that they win this next fight. And that's a little scary for them, given how this game started out.
Yep. But right now, mistakes were made, so the game has become really, really chaotic. But overall, I think if the game progresses longer and more farm is being poured out onto the NLG side, their team is much more scary in the late game with the Ember. They have like literally two position 1 heroes, Ember and Tiny.
Yeah, and now you also have the slider with the Vladimir's offering for the side of NLG, which is incredibly good, especially for the Tiny in this up-and-coming fight.
This is looking really good for NLG all of a sudden.
Yeah, it actually is. Even though 4CNL still have very farmed cores, it feels like it's not meaning nearly as much just because of the heroes. Now Roshan is up. It's going to be scouted out by Fire Remnant, dropped into the pit by No Logic Gaming. And this is probably where we're going to see our next fight, yeah.
This is the most important moment right now for them. Like, I think for NLG, if they can secure the Roshan, the game is pretty much like fully turned around for them.
We'll have to see if they're going to be able to do that. Courier is going to be flying out a smoke to 4CNL. They have the gem on Bamboo and the Necrobook. They know that they haven't been spotted out by wards. And the map control this is offering 4CNL is pretty big. Smoke is going to be dropped. Courier is flying over. It's still following them. That was spotted out by a ward.
What?
The little pumpkin guy. He's following EGM. The Remnant in. Yeah, that's just going to pull him back a little bit further. Now just go straight into the Roshan pit.
What? The courier just basically gave away everything? Alright. Okay.
Can they get this Roshan, though? They are doing it pretty
the
darn
courier
quickly.
is still following him. Oh my god. Please.
The 6th member of their team. Well, Shadowfiend Illusions around the corner. They'll pop the darkness, and it looks like No Logic Gaming don't know. Roshan is going to fall. Shadowfiend claims the Aegis. Excalibur is going to be vacuumed back. Ooh, that was really slick. Do they have the follow-up for it? Excalibur is getting clubbed by his own Illusionist. Slaughter is brought down by Bamboo on the sidelines. Ember Spirit drops a Remnant, turns for the Sleight of Fist. Remnant's a little bit further away, but he's silenced. And now Madeira in a lot of trouble, and he didn't have the
they're
mana
gonna get
for
the
it.
Wiz as well. He relocated. He tried to save the Ember.
Poor guy. And just like that, 4CNL get right back into the driver's seat inside this game. I thought NLG would be able to put up a much better fight as Spartan. 4 step away. He's going to drop to Bamboo. Triple kill for him.
Oh my god, are they going to force the double buybacks?
Yes, they are. No buyback available for the Slaughter. It's going to be 4 versus 5, plus the Aegis on the Shadow Fiend, plus the BKB on the SF, but they have the Magic Community up for Excalibur too. Melee Barracks is dropping low. Avalanche thrown out onto Pycat and EGM. Vacuum back. BKB popped. The Static Storm's on the depth, but Pycat has his own Magic Community. Will throw out his Requiem. Excalibur is huge, but he's locked in place by Grip. Excalibur's going to toss away Saxa, trying to right-click him down. They'll be able to bring down the Tiny, and he has no buyback. Blink and Crush, but what does it matter? GG well played. As 4CNL will bring the series a 2-0 victory for themselves.
Oh my god, that was quite sloppy from 4CNL. That was actually quite worrisome. It was not a convincing victory at all. The way the game started, NLG had a very greedy draft. They lost 2 of their lanes. So it should have been a straightforward victory when you lose your lanes that badly for at the top competitive level. So 4CNL had a great start, but they didn't really show that it was a convincing victory for me. They were really, really shaky this game. It's like a pattern, every time they're winning, they make some really, really risky move, and then, the rest, okay, we can't actually do that. But you can't repeat it every single series and then realize after during the game. You have to, it happens one time and it doesn't happen anymore in your future series. I think it's a really huge sign that this team is struggling in terms of discipline. When you have a lead, you need to be very conservative. You have to respect your opponents. You can't make very risky plays. I only see making risky plays a reasonable thing if you're behind and then you need some sort of way to come back into the game. Then you make a risky play. I can see that happening for you, but if you're leading by such a good amount of net worth, you don't do anything crazy. You just make sure you play safe and you end the game.
Yeah, and we'll have to see if they're going to be able to tighten that up later down the line. But still, 4CNL are looking good inside their groups, and I think they've pretty much secured themselves a slot inside the top 4. Winning that, getting themselves 3 points against NLG, already having sat on quite a large amount inside the groups, and they're still a top contender, although there are some concerns. No Logic Gaming, it wasn't a complete turnaround for them, but they had the opportunity to make that, and that was pretty impressive. A little bit disappointed with that Roshan fight. I was kind of hoping that No Logic Gaming could put up a little bit more of a show.
Yeah, but they were under a lot of disadvantage at that situation. Roshan was already dead, and they had the vision advantage for 4CNL, the Night Stalker. And
Night Stalker plus Beastmaster is ridiculous to fight into.
It's so difficult for them to fight into. So that position, if they were able to get the timing right when the Roshan was about to die and they move in, then maybe they could have won the fight. But once Roshan went down, it was just difficult for them once they got the ages on Piket.
Yeah, and all kind of goes downhill from there. No Logic Gaming, I'm not sure what they need to do in order to finish in top 4, if that's even possible for them at this point.
I think it is still, right, if they win their last 2. They have 2 more series.
Okay.
If they win, I'm not sure though, but
And they'll need to be 2-0
I
as well.
remember them mentioning that they can still lose 1 series if they win the other both, like the remaining 2. So maybe they can still qualify mathematically. I'm not sure, but
It'll be a very difficult series, and that one will be coming up next. No Logic Gaming versus MVP will be following on this series, but I guess we can still talk a little bit about these teams for a while longer, as I'm sure they'll be bringing up a couple of stats, but really it kind of felt like Excalibur was left mostly alone as the Tiny, and he just wasn't able to find those solo pickoffs, at least
he
in
was
that
just
game.
under too much pressure though because
Yeah.
of their lineup. Their lineup doesn't have another.
He needed to do more, and he couldn't.
Yeah, and maybe he wanted to go for the blink, and then he changed his mind because he knew that he has to be the carry for the team. Because Ember has literally nothing that game because of it's not even Madara's fault. Like he played badly. It's just the situation that the draft and overall strategy put them in. Like this is one of the few games I know I've been mentioning that their drafts have always been stable, quite solid. But this game they had a draft that was really greedy, tough to execute, and they had too many heroes that needed space in the game, and they lost their lanes badly. So it was a huge problem for them.
And there's not like a comeback mechanism for Ember in that game. It's very hard for him to be involved in kills. There's just a mass amount of lockdown for him if he tries to commit in with
he
Remnants.
needs to be able to get a decent start. I mean, not a perfect start, but a somewhat acceptable start.
Yeah, you can be underfarmed on an Ember, but you can't have no completed items by the end of the game. I don't think he even got that Lincoln's.
Yeah, that was really really bad for the Ember that game, but it wasn't his fault. It was just the overall strategy that he was put into.
Fair enough. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm not sure exactly when they're going to decide to run ads. Oh?
Oh, someone didn't actually scroll down. So we
All right, we have an interview coming up.
For Clovers and Leprechaun, congratulations on winning the second series. So far, you guaranteed the LAN stage. How do you feel about it?
It feels good. We still have one game left to play, but I mean, yeah, it feels good, I guess.
Coming back about your last match, it seems like the last game didn't went too well for you at some point when you overcommitted, and a tiny wisp combo could make you feel miserable at times. How that happened?
Because I personally played really bad. I was like out of position, so I didn't get to use my ulti. So it was like the fights went terrible because Tiny could do whatever he wanted, but yeah, we still managed somehow.
Right, and you are now facing MVP. What do you think about this team that you never actually played them? They have kind of aggressive play style, I guess a little bit similar that you are.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be fun to play them. The game doesn't really matter for us, I guess, because we're already in, but yeah, just see how it goes, have fun, I don't know.
Right. How do you feel about this tournament so far? Like it feels kind of, I don't know, no crowd, it's like home environment.
Yeah, it's like very relaxed, but it's like usually it's like this before the big event, so it's like it's nice, relaxing, just get some hang out. It's good.
All right. Thank you so much and good luck next games.
Yeah, thank you.
See you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.